A warm welcome to our Empowering podcast. We're excited to unpack how to empower moms and supporting our kids through performance anxiety. My name is Elana Afrika-Bredenkamp, and with me are our experts today. It is exciting to meet them as we help navigate all those emotions and those crucial moments, how to navigate and help our children through exam stress or other performance-related pressures. Well, it's time for me to introduce our guests. Eleftheria, or better known as Ria, a warm welcome to you.
I'm a qualified homeopathic practitioner, and I've been in industry for about 12, 13 years. But a few years ago, I decided, let me just do a bit of a course in life coaching, and that came with a specific technique called neuro-linguistic programming, which was very interesting for me because I've got this affinity and passion for the mind and, understanding people and where they come from. So, yeah, that helped me quite a bit to get more into mental wellness and connecting better with people.
Also today we've got Isabelle Dywili. It is good to meet you as a psychologist and a counselor. Quickly give us a rundown. What do you do?
My name is Isabelle. I'm a registered trauma counselor, so I specialize in trauma therapy. I am the founder of Lux Counseling. So what I do is I usually do individual sessions, group sessions. I also run workshops for moms or anyone who feels like they need a bit of support in their lives, which I think all of us do at some point in time. And yeah, I'm a mental health advocate. I think the importance of mental health has never been more in the forefront since COVID and everything and all the anxiety that COVID brought onto people. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Elana.
Marie-Louise Candiotes is our blogger mom. I'm a fan because she has many babies and I want many babies too. A warm welcome to today. Give us a rundown. Who are we seeing? What are you doing these days as a former teacher?
Well, these days I am a mom of 3 and almost 4. So basically my life has become mom life. But a couple of years ago, I discovered that I really loved writing and I loved sharing. And I started a blog, Just a Mama, and I wanted to empower moms. I wanted to give them a platform where I share my experience, but where I also provide resources from experts where they can come to for support.
Yeah.
And just the real, the gritty, the nitty behind motherhood. And I love sharing that.
I had a conversation the other day with a mom and she said she's a full-time mom. And I said, oh boy, what a task you have at your hands. Does that make you anxious?
It used to. But I do think with experience comes knowledge and wisdom. And some of the techniques we'll most likely be chatting about today. So I used to be far more anxious than I am today. Today, I've learned to focus on the joy that motherhood actually brings.
There's so many people who look at us, as parents, as people who consult to parents all the time. If there was one thing that you could give them reassurance about, because we are afraid of many things in life, right? Scared, nervous. What's the biggest joy about being a mom?
Oh, you mess up so much, but they love you.
Yeah.
They love you unconditionally, and they'll give you a second, a third, a fifth chance, and you'll make the best of it. Like, it doesn't matter how badly you messed up. You love them, so you will fix it. You will find a way to fix it, no matter what happened, what the problem is. And that takes off the pressure. We don't have to be perfect. Once you realize that, you can really tap into the joy of it all.
Empowering moms, supporting children. I can't say this topic. Empowering moms, supporting children through performance anxiety. What does it mean to you as a mental health advocate? I mean, let's start with performance anxiety. What do you think it is?
So performance anxiety is the little feeling you feel before having to do something on a platform like a stage. Sometimes it's even presenting in front of your class for kids, or having to do this recital in front of this crowd and you really don't know how to calm those nervousness and that anxiousness that you feel. It's that butterfly in your stomach that you feel. And that's what performance anxiety is. It's, I guess, your expectations in the forefront saying, I want to really do well, but I'm also scared. It's that bridge between those two things. And now it's you now having to decide, how are you going to push through? How are you going to come across and say, I'm going to do it anyway? Because I think that's what's so important about performance anxiety, even for our kids, is to teach them that you need to do it anyway. Even though you are nervous, even if you are scared, me as mom, I will be here for you. Whether you fail, whether you succeed, I will be here. And it's like you're performing for me. Forget about everyone else, you know? So it's actually it's an thrilling thing, because I think our kids experience emotions with us for the first time, and we get to coach them through the emotion and teach them how to go about this emotion. What do you do? Do you panic? Do you not panic? You know what I mean? And performance anxiety is one of those things where we have to teach our kids how to cope with it. Once we teach them how to cope with it, I think that skill stays with them for life, because it doesn't stop just because you're an adult.
As a homeopath, I mean, if we think of performance anxiety, the performance sounds like fun.
Yes.
But anxiety sounds terrible. I mean, let's face it, Ria. Our children were born and we do all these things at birth, you know, whether there's kangarooing and keeping them close to us and breastfeeding and nurturing. And then we have to teach them now to go away from us and to let go. And even I'm not ready to let go, you know. I'm the first one that if I've been traveling, I get into my kids' beds because I miss them. And so my kids doesn't have to get out of my bed. I need to get out of theirs because I'm the clingy mom, you know. We're at this point where we are trying to release our kids. What does homeopathy say?
Well, homeopathy is very similar to what moms say. So basically, you know, it's all about helping them grow the roots and also helping them grow wings. You know, so the routine is they know they can come back home. That's their safe space. What they've learned, what like builds them, their character, that's home, that's mom, that's dad, whoever it is that's surrounding them, right? But then the wings also so important. The wings to help them fly, to be able to be adults in this crazy world. And if you don't give them specific tools, they're going to get even more anxious. You know, they're going to be driven by anxiety instead of being the drivers of the anxiety, because it's normal. We're all going to go through anxiety. We all go through stress. We go through nervousness, and we need to also touch on those as well, because there are differences. But you know, the most important thing is we're building these adults, and we need to look at them as, you're going to be an adult one day, and this is how we're going to have to, you know, help you grow. So boost you up a little bit.
At first, they're a baby.
Yes.
First they're baby, but I think also...
And mommy's little girl.
And it goes too fast.
No, I still call my 6-year-old small baby. And then she said, I'm not small baby anymore. And I said, okay, hello, big girl. But I don't mean it. Because she's still a small baby.
She'll always be, I suppose. She'll always be. And that's okay. And that's fine. They don't get it. And that's okay as well. You know, that's the beautiful transition. I like how you put it, because there's the we are grounded, we have our connection, we have our roots of what we've learned from home, but then our wings is saying, I need you to fly. I'm not scared to let you fly because I know you are. It's like you're showing them also that you trust and you have confidence that they can do it. And I think a majority of performance anxiety and easing your kids through it is saying, I know you can do it. I really know you can do it. Sink or swim, I know you can do it.
I've also reached the point where I say to them, you don't have to.
Exactly.
You don't have to do it. You know, we're doing, and I want to ask you, Marie-Louise, because you're in a situation where there's almost 4 babies, you know.
Yeah.
And we've hockeyed this year. Oh boy, have we hockeyed in summer and winter and summer again and extra hockey and hockey. And then eventually I said, you know what? You look tired today. Do you want to go? And she said, Mama, I'm tired. And I said, you don't have to. You don't have to show up today. You don't have to go. What does performance anxiety look like in your household?
Well, I mean, in a household with 3 little girls at different stages, it looks very different for each one of them. If I think about our youngest, she is in grade R going on to grade 1. So she really has a nervousness around me kind of letting the reins go a little bit and having the confidence, knowing she can do it, but she's just not always believing it herself yet. So she doesn't like this newfound freedom. Sometimes she does, but a lot of the time she feels uncomfortable in that. Stuff like they have to do school readiness assessments. It's so much pressure. I mean, the first time you were used to playing, now you're doing an assessment. And then with our eldest, peer pressure. That's something new now. And then with our middle one, she's in that first stage where public speaking, she's going on to first exams. So we have a lot of different anxiety and pressures going on in the same time. And now obviously a big one has been, there's a new baby on the way. How is that going to change the family dynamic? So there's quite a few ones we are trying to navigate at the moment.
So navigate is the word, and we've got a trauma counselor and an expert with us this morning. How do we recognize performance anxiety? And I specifically talk about a negative type of anxiety. So not the nervousness and the butterflies that we would like our children to have. When does it become something where we go, okay, it's time to do something about it? What do we see and what do we recognize?
So immediately when it starts becoming more pathological and becoming abnormal, it's when you realize that it's preventing your child from living a full life. They start cutting back on their life. So they start socializing. Before, your child was very comfortable with seeing their friends after school or meeting up with friends on the weekend or having play dates or something like that. But now your child is starting to shrink, and you realize that your child is starting to shrink away. They are doing less of what they used to find pleasure or joy in. And now you start seeing also maybe a bit of nervousness in terms of age also. It could be like your child now wants to cling and be more clingy towards you. Mommy, don't switch off the light. Mommy, don't leave me. And you recognize those little changes in your child. It will be behavioral changes. It will be emotional changes where your child was very confident and playful. Now their personality has changed a little bit. They are withdrawn. They prefer solitude. Those emotional changes are also very key. Tantrums as well. If your child normally doesn't have tantrums and now you're recognizing that it's more frequent and the duration is longer, you probe. You know what I mean? Your first instinct when you start seeing changes is just probe, sit down with your child, probe, investigate a little deeper. Then you can start seeing if it's something that needs attention, where you do take them to a mental health counselor or you take them to a psychologist or whatever mental health service that you can get for them. Or if it's something that you both can work on when you coach your child through those difficult feelings and through those difficult emotions, because you'll start to see those changes as a mom. They will affect your child very greatly. I mean, the way they eat, now they're not even interested in food, or they eat more now. And you notice that, something is going on here. That's your sign as a parent to probe, go deeper. Once you've spoken to your child and you feel confident in what they are telling you, now you can decide which route you need to take, because obviously every child is different, like you're saying. The little one still needs a little bit of reassurance, and that makes sense. Little people still look to us to say, can I trust her? Or can I trust this new situation or this new environment? They look to you, they say, can I go and hug? Or, you know what I mean? They always look back and check with mom, because you are the root. You are the thermometer for your house as a mom. And that's, I think, a very wonderful and powerful gift, that you get to manage all the personalities in your house, because you are the thermometer for all of them. You get to see that, something's changed there. Let me probe and ask. And that's the wonderful thing about having to be present. So you can see those little nuanced changes in your child.
When we talk performance anxiety, is it a long-term change, or is it something that is instant, but tomorrow it will be different? What if they just feel like tantruming today and it has nothing to do with anxiety? Just like I sometimes feel like coffee, or I don't want to get up.
A bad day.
It's
been a bad day.
No, that is absolutely correct. And that's why I say you will have to measure out, how often is this happening for my child? And is this an actual significant difference where it's impacting their life at school, it's impacting their social life with friends and whatever activities they have outside of school, and it's impacting how they are relating with family members now in the house? That's when you know it's a serious problem. But if it's just one of those days where a child is off, we are off as well as adults, you know what I mean? It's now about you just coming to child's level and saying, it's okay to actually feel like this, And your job is to empathize more than give advice or try to remove your child out of that pain. Because I know an immediate response for parents sometimes is to rescue your child. It's like, let me take you out of this situation. But it's actually just to be there, soothe and reassure and empathize with them. I think that counts more, because it says, you are not scared of this emotion that they're experiencing as well as a parent, because we can tend to be scared. And now our reaction makes them think, when I act like this, mom changes towards me. So it also reinforces things that we don't want to reinforce, which is we are uncomfortable with you being like this.
I mean, what is happening in our bodies when we're feeling pressure or nervousness?
Homeopathy says first look at the individual, because everyone's going to experience things very differently. But, you know, there's common things to look out for. It's the sweaty hands. It's that increased impulse rate. The diarrhea, maybe even the stomach cramps. You know, get some of those kids in the morning say, no, my stomach's too sore to go to school. You know, that's the first sign to go, okay, if it happens often, then we need to look into that. But what are the symptoms? How does the child experience it regularly? And then we look into what remedies will actually match that child specifically.
We need a remedy. So what would you recommend for the sweaty palms, the nervousness, maybe the clenching of the jaw at night, you know?
Yes.
What would you recommend?
Well, there's beautiful remedies out there. First, you know, it's nice to look at, there's a group called Bachflower remedies. Those are very subtle. You know, if you think of a flower's petals, it's delicate, it's soft. And the oils that we get from there are also very calming on mental and spiritual levels. So those cover a lot of the fear that comes with whatever situation we are faced with, the anxiety, the fear of being alone. So there's a group of them. I mean, there's many of them, but we normally work with about 5 main ones. Then you go into more specific, also plant-based remedies, where you would look at something like ambergrissia, which helps with the diarrhea, the stomach aches, the cramping that comes with it. So it treats the physical side of it. Melissa officinalis, which looks more into the anxiety, the sleeplessness that comes with that worry. There's so many, but there is that support. And homeopathy gives the kids that support. But what's also very important, gives the moms the support as well. So as we sit in and we're dealing and we're helping our child grow, we grow in ourselves. You know, the mother is learning and you grow, and you're never told to grow or to learn, is it? So it's acknowledging what's needed, where we need help, and then asking for it.
Immediately, Isabelle, I want to navigate and help our little ones with emotions. Sometimes when I see that they can't identify, when I say to them, what made you happy at school today? You know, what made you sad? What made you cross?
Yeah.
You know? And that's even a way for us as moms to navigate. Why do I feel so irritated? Oh, it's because I forgot to pay the parking earlier or whatever, you know?
Yes.
How do we navigate these emotions with little ones? I mean, if you had to strike a conversation with our daughters and sons, and you had to start the conversation, which I think is always the hardest. I mean, my kids are really clever. They know when I'm probing, okay? And they will shut you down going, you asking those questions again, so I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah. I think we put too much pressure on ourselves as moms. We forget. Sometimes it's not about getting the answer. It's leaving that gateway open to say to your child, when you need me, I am here. Because that now fosters this wonderful relationship between you, that if your child is in danger or if your child needs your assistance, they know you are available, versus if you don't ask any questions and you don't probe at all, ever, your child gets this message. It's not direct, but it's intended, and that's how they take it. Oh, mom doesn't care. Mom doesn't want to know how my day is going. Mom doesn't want to, be bothered with my stuff. So sometimes we get discouraged when we ask and we get no answer. No, don't be discouraged. Like when you're driving your kids from school or you're taking them to school, that carpool drive, and you're trying to ask questions and sometimes you don't get answers, breathe. That's okay. That's perfectly normal, because kids will only share when they feel like, oh, I need help with this, or this is really big to me, or this is significant to me. But if you never probe at all, it doesn't create that relationship that says, I'm here for you when you need it. And you know your child is resilient and strong. So with the little ones, my suggestion would be, what was your highlight of your day? What was the pit of your day? And that's something you just create as a family tradition, that you ask at a specific time, maybe while you're cooking and they're sitting by the island, or when you're having dinner and you discuss some family conversation. And it's something just to teach them so that they start being aware of their feelings. And then now you can start now with like a feelings thermometer. There's cards, there's little magnet stickers on the fridge. There's even stuff that they can put in their rooms where they start now to really explore the combination of, I feel this way, but what sensations do I feel when I feel this way? Because sadness for some kids does not feel the same as the other kid might experience sadness differently. You know, when your heart is heavy, when you feel a little bit like you're weighed down by the world and your shoulders are heavy and you're slumped, when the other kid's sadness is just, I can't help but cry. You know, they feel it cognitively. They can't concentrate. They can't think clearly. Their memory is terrible because they're feeling a little bit sad today. And teachers can also observe that. And I think also for us, it's a tip to say, when you go to your parent-teacher conferences, listen to what the teacher's not saying. That's important. There's always, teachers will be like, oh, that one, he's so quiet. But what does that mean when a teacher says he's so quiet? Oh, he's not socializing with other kids. He's not interacting with other kids. He is maybe isolated and doesn't have friends. And that's when you take that and you go home with it as a parent to be like, you know, so listen to what the teacher's not saying, but they're saying it, but they're not saying it. Listen to that. Because I think that also helps us to know what to probe on when we get home.
There's different kinds of tools, and I see on social media, you know, if we talk about a product or a tool that you buy, immediately moms will go, where can I buy it? You know, because self-work is hard work.
Yeah. Oh, it
and
is.
sometimes we think it's easier to just buy the tool, you know, that can help us along. How do you get the girls to talk? I mean, Barbie prays for Barbie in my house. We play dollies, and then Barbie asks the other Barbie, how was your day? And then Barbie has to talk back, and our generation dolls are in the stable going, who's the bad friend? That's, you know, I can do any voice at this stage, right?
But role play is very important. Role play is very important.
How do you get the girls to speak?
Well, I think when they were little, that was very helpful. As they got older, I kind of learned a trick where it's taking off the pressure from letting, I'm like in stealth mode.
Yeah.
We'll be washing dishes and we'll just be chatting and stuff will come up in conversation. Or for my girls, they're all very active. They enjoy being active a lot. So sometimes I just need them to just start jumping on the trampoline, to loosen their heartstrings a little bit, to get them to talk to me about something. Because I think personality plays a role, definitely. With a child that's maybe a perfectionist and that's maybe more reserved, you'll need to work a little bit harder. Yeah. I've got one of those and she makes me work for it. And with her, I need to go lie in bed at night and maybe like, oh, I need to wash her hair, maybe be more touchy-feely, and then she feels safe enough to open up. Whereas I've got another little girl that she's a bit of a people's pleaser, steps into that like trick of comparison where she looks to other, and that causes a lot of anxiety. Why am I not the same size as the other girls? Why can't I read as fast as the other kids? Like, why do I feel a certain way? And with her again, I need to almost play, get her to feel confident and comfortable in something where she knows she's good at. And then she'll open up and she'll talk. So I feel I kind of need to create a safe space where they feel comfortable. And then once those floodgates open, I mean, sometimes it's girls, they don't stop talking. So you need to be aware that if you're opening this up, it might be a half an hour sit down. But we also have traditions in our home where we will do dinner and we will ask about your day. And they hate it when they get in the car. Sometimes they'll just answer me and they'll just be like, yes, this is what we did. This is where we were. This is how my friends are doing. Okay, are we done? I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm glad you had a good day. And I think that just helps. Just the reassurance of we have open conversation in our house helps keep the conversation going. And it's also when they are quiet, when I have to work harder, I know, okay, wait, something's going on. So it's a good kind of thermometer to keep track of where's everybody's emotions and feelings at the moment.
Yeah.
One of our biggest pressures in our lives and that of our children is exam. Exams can almost be compartmented into an entire different type of fear and stressor, together with having to perform to do an oral or a book report for our littlies. Because they hardly started reading and now they need a book report.
It's amazing. It's nuts, yeah.
How do we, and I mean, we have learned what stress could be, what pressures could be, how to speak, how to recognize. And today I almost want to hear, how can we effectively maintain conversation and also help our kids maintain a healthy mindset, especially when it comes to exams time?
So there are different strategies or coping strategies to use for your kids when they are thinking about exams and starting getting into exam mode. And the first one, I'd say basic nutrition. If your child is not eating properly, it will really show. I work with school kids all the time, and I can see the ones that the teachers are struggling a little bit harder with. Either they are not eating breakfast or they are consuming sweets during break, and then that's not really a well-balanced meal for the child. And then it affects how they are learning in class, because how do you concentrate?
Exactly.
You know, where's the focus that grounds you to say, I'm listening to this person properly so I can engage with that? So then I also say, now it gets into also movement. Movement is so important for our children. It doesn't have to be doing extracurricular sports at school. It could be something that they enjoy doing, dance class, whatever, to help your kids get those endorphins out. That helps our children now balance out properly. They can think, they are calm, and they also have a way to release that stress cycle. We have a stress cycle that we're in, and if you don't release or end the stress cycle, it usually stays in your body. And that's what burnout becomes eventually, right? So we need somewhere where they can release some of that. And then thirdly, I think also breathing techniques are amazing. Amazing. Before you write an exam, you can be so caught in your head that you even forget what you learned because you go blank, right? So it's knowing how to calm your body in a way that really is going to be effective so that you can think clearly and write your exams. And my recommendation for this is deep belly breaths. And depending how old your child is, you can teach them by saying, I want you to imagine blowing up a balloon. So the stomach goes out and then you decompress the balloon, you let the air out, and then do that again, repetitiously, like 3 times. And that's really good. Another thing that people, I think, don't think about from a physiological standpoint is a sigh. A sigh is a way to quickly relieve yourself of any stress or tension that's there. And we take it for granted that when you're like, it's actually, you feel better. You feel great because it's like, remember when you're breathing and with the breathing techniques, you switch on what we call your parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic, it's like a parent. It watches over you. Are you cool? Are you calm? So that's what you want to switch on, right? And then also grounding techniques are fantastic for you to just focus on the present. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about the past. Just get into the present. So a great grounding technique is using the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, right? 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can smell, 2 things that you can taste, and then 1 thing that you can, you know what I mean? Make it out for your child so that they can do it. They can do it anyway. They can go to the bathroom quickly before the exam and then go do it.
I just had goosebumps when you said that.
Yeah.
Exams looks different for all of us. What does homeopathy say? I mean, what is actually happening in your body when you are experiencing stress during exam time?
It's that fight or flight. Your body just perceives this threat that's coming towards you. If you don't control those thoughts, then it's going to start reacting on a physiological level, and we're talking adrenaline spikes, your cortisol levels spike. So if we aren't able to control those stress levels or the anxiety that comes with it, our body goes into the straight fight and flight mode. So your body thinks it's under attack. Someone's going to shoot it down. Your cortisol levels go through the roof. Your adrenaline goes through the roof. And, then it's a vicious cycle. Then you can't get out of it. So homeopathy brings that down a notch. It helps control those cortisol levels. It helps put the adrenaline where it's supposed to be. It's only there if you're in danger. You're not in danger. You're going to say a speech, for goodness sake. Take that deep breath, So homeopathy takes that edge off. There's lots of options and lots of remedies that kids, moms can take. We spoke about Bach flower remedies. There's other things like Melissa officinalis, which is good for anxiety.
Why are we trying to curb these feelings? Is it because it's too much and it can really be harmful?
Yeah. It starts making that person feel like this is the normal way to react.
Right.
And it's not necessarily normal to react that way. If it starts disrupting your everyday life, if you're not able to go to and sit down calmly and write that exam, it's a problem for later on in life. Not everyone's academically strong. Some people love singing more than writing exams, but it's getting the child to actually understand it's something you actually just have to do. You don't have to be an A student. You can go do your dance class afterwards and be a dance teacher, whatever the case may be. Again, identifying what are the strengths of that specific person, that child.
If we look at remedies, what can we taste and take in order to bring things back to our normal, so that we know that this is something that I can do, and then I can, like you say, attend my singing class and my things. I can do my best. I just want to do my best.
Yeah. So with remedies, it helps you center yourself. There's a lot of remedies out there. There's specific ones that you find in the market that actually are very good for a wide range of people, a wide range of personalities, something like Rescue Remedy. Even a baby, it takes that edge off for the baby. They will stop maybe screaming for the half an hour and rather only scream for 5 minutes or whatever the case may be. But it's, there's tools out there, there's remedies all over the place. And we're talking about remedies that have been around since the 1960s. They've trial, error, it works. It's so safe, so safe. And even if the mother's taking it, and that's just what's beautiful between a mom and child relationship, especially at a baby age. If you feel, I don't want to give my baby anything, even if it's homeopathy, something that's 100% safe, the mom can take it. Because we're projecting the whole time as well. If this baby doesn't stop screaming, the mom's going to get anxious. The mom's going to get, on edge. Mommy, you take the Rescue Remedy, or you take the Bach flower remedies. Calm yourself, and straight away your child, even a 10-year-old, picks up on those vibes. They can feel it straight away.
It's also important to make sure that kids know that some of the anxiety that you face before an exam or before performing, it can impact how your performance looks. So it's very important to teach that so that they can calm down and perform their best and realize performing your best now needs you to calm down.
Wow.
Versus you're so stressed, yes, you want to perform well, but if we teach you now to calm down and we do the techniques with you, you will perform better because you do perform better. Even school readiness, kids, when they do school readiness tests, can get so freaked out. Versus when you are calm and you are relaxed, you can really perform your best and your marks can be so reliable. Versus when you are stressed, then your marks are not that reliable, And unfortunately, our school system doesn't check that when we just grade our kids.
I just want to add to that because we talk exam and all our minds always go sitting down, writing a paper. But for some kids, an exam for them is winning a race, getting to the end of that sprint.
Oh, yes.
And performance or the symptoms you get from performance anxiety or from stress are actually very good for a race, for that type of scenario. Yeah. Okay, it's bringing up those cortisols, the adrenaline. You want adrenaline. You want to run as fast as possible. So it's going, how do you use what's coming up naturally within your body and within your mind? How do you use that to the best of your ability?
Yeah.
You need to use as tools. Discarding it and saying that it's not good is almost tainting the experience for the child, making them feel like they're not worthy. Or it's bad that they're feeling this and not like everybody else. There's something wrong with them. It's not that.
Yeah, and in that example, I think you close the stress cycle.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get stuck in a stress cycle because we didn't complete it, and that's where the stress lingers in our body and doesn't come out. So when you're going to do a race, it's great. You're going to release it eventually. But for the kids who are not going to be doing the race, that's where it's important to implement some of those techniques so that it does close the cycle. And I like crying as well. I think we take that for granted.
Screaming.
Crying is amazing for closing a stress cycle for people. Even laughing. Laughter is the same. It works the same as well. It closes that stress cycle.
Thank you for joining us on this empowering journey about learning about exam pressures and learning from a mom and our counselor as well as our homeopath. Ladies, this was really insightful. Well, stay connected with us for valuable insights and practical tools of how you can help your children navigate the pressures around anxiety as well as other pressures like exam stress. My name is Elana. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. And if it is, we're always here.